Okay, now we're in the get status routine. And remember, this is the one where after we've already gone out, loaded the CSV, after we've already figured out the guy's email, after we've already parsed the first line, the line for the first guy we're going to look at, and push those variables into the central memory area, we now are going to go and figure out if we've already got a contact, an opportunity, and an account for him, or if he's brand new, or if he's a lead, or whatever he is. That's what getStatus is going to figure out for us. So the first thing we need to do is we need to here I first calculate the guy's birthday and put it together into a string because we're going to use birthday, and I'll show you why we're going to need that in a minute. So we have detective birth date is now a new instance of date. Okay, so we're good. Now, what we're doing here is we're doing we're going and getting all the contacts that might match this guy. Okay, and we have a fairly complex SOQL command here, which is, select his first name, last name, account ID, and all that from contact, where his student ID equals student ID. So if student ID matches, that's great. But don't bring me back nulls. I mean, if you get a null match, you're going to get a lot of those. I only want to know if you get a real hit on a real LMS ID number, a student ID number, or if you match on emails, or if you match on first name and last name and birth date. Right? That's why we calculated the birth date, so we can triangulate on that. Because sometimes we have an old email, or they change their email, or we don't have the right system ID. But if we can get a hit on first name, last name, and birth date, rock and roll. So that's good enough for this group. Now the other thing we had to find out was, well, also, did he have a list? Now, but did he have a lead? But I want to go back and point out something that's really critical. Sometimes I go, okay, Salesforce really crams you down on SQL statements. You can only ask a very, very few questions. You can only ask 100 questions total, which, given that I have to ask maybe 3, 4, 5 per record, means I can only process maybe 10 or 20 or 30 records at a time. So I really want to be economical on my SQL hits. But there's a problem. If I say set a contact object equal to the result here, if there's no result, it crashes. It doesn't like it. And if there's more than one result, and I try and set it to a contact object, it crashes because you can't have two guys sitting in one chair. Oh boy. So in order to be economical, what I did was I set it equal to a list of contacts. Now, a list is very nice because a list can tolerate no results. It can tolerate one result. It can tolerate 5 results. So what I do is I do one hit, I get back a bunch of stuff, and then I have to kind of parse through it and figure out what I got. So I kind of go fishing. I grab whatever comes out of the database, and then later I have to pick through it and figure out what I got. But I get everything in one shot, and I'm done. So that's why list results are key in Salesforce. Same thing here with the lead objects. So I go in and say, do we have any leads that match this that I can goof with? And the answer, and then I get that lead. And you notice that I got in and got out with only 2 requests, 2 SQL hits. And that's absolutely key to manage that if you want to have any scalability.